Mic check.
Hey,
What's up?
you have stopped everyone's video, so
Oh, no one can put their video. I mean, there's not really many people in here, so let's see. Promote to panelists. Give me 1 second while I do one thing here. All right. This is a sluggish morning for me, to be completely honest. It's been quite a long week, but we will get started nonetheless. Today is July 11th, 2019. My name is Robert. You're watching Open Hours, episode 155. Today is a 96 Boards AMA, means ask me anything. I mean, for the most part, ask us anything, because you are joined not only by myself, but a couple of the engineers from the 96 Boards family, one who specializes in a lot of open source projects and cool kind of just everything all around, and then our other engineer who specializes in our upstreaming work. We have Sahaj and Mani on the call. So if you are joining us from YouTube or here on the Zoom channel, then feel free to speak up and let us know what's going on. We do have a couple things that I'd like to cover before we go in here, and I'm just kind of moving people over from the channel or from the attendees list into the panelists list. But I realize I haven't stopped screen sharing, so let me do that. All right. Now I stopped screen sharing. Great. Yeah, so I want to touch on a couple topics. We have some announcements. There's a few things that have been going on in the community, and then Sahaj might have a demo. What was it? The Nas demo? Or at least
it's more of a showcase than a demo.
Showcase. There we go. And then there were a few things that went on. Yeah. So first of all, last week, what did we do last week? We spoke with, let me pull this one up here actually. Last week, we were talking about the OpenCV and the RB robotics kit. Now, this is a project that Sahaj is working on. This was a repeat of our first attempt at doing this episode. There were some technical difficulties the first time, but if you did miss that episode, I would definitely suggest going and checking it out. It was a real fun one, and during the take two, there were a lot of cool things that we were able to cover that we might have missed in the first one. I'm going to share it right now in the chat. Where is it? Share it in the YouTube chat first. Oh, it says live chat reply is not available for this video. Oh, that's the wrong one. That's because I switched the video. So on the live stream one, I can share right here. Don't leave the video yet, though. Don't click it and go over to that one. You know, right click it and open a new tab if you like. But yeah, so Sahaj is building this cool little robotic arm, and it's going to be controlled by the RB3 robotics kit. The RB3 robotics kit will take in voice input and then use computer vision, have a camera, look around, and then actuate and then act on the command that is made. So that should be a lot of fun. There's a little demo there for OpenCV, and then Sahaj has also been releasing several blogs to complement his work and make sure that people can follow along on what has been happening. The next thing on the list is that I'm not sure if anyone heard, but this is, I feel like a quick topic of discussion, but Red Hat was acquired by IBM. I don't know. Sahaj, did I mention that in the chat, or was that you who brought that up?
You mentioned it, but I was following the story pretty closely.
Yeah, so Red Hat was purchased by IBM for a whopping $34 billion. I feel like, wasn't that the same amount that ARM was bought for by SoftBank?
Oh, could be.
I feel like that was right around the same amount that ARM was bought for, and that's a lot of money. Sahaj brought up a good thing, a good note here, was that it's kind of interesting because if IBM bought,
ARM was bought for 32, so they got about $2 billion more.
Red Hat's valued pretty high, and I mean, it's funny because I only found out about this because Peter Robinson, who joins us quite frequently, our Fedora guy, he put out a tweet saying, "I guess I work for IBM now."
Yeah.
I thought he was just
No,
joking.
I think it's been like 6 months or more since the announcement. So they finally closed the deal on this one.
Oh, okay. So I'm late to the game.
Yeah.
Yeah. No, but still interesting nonetheless. I'm wondering what's going to happen here. I'm actually kind of stoked about it, to be honest. The IBM it seems to be a very good company, and they're really trying to, I think, keep up because IBM used to be a very like strong force. Now they've kind of like dwindled down. I feel like, I used to go into CompUSA, if anyone remembers CompUSA, used to go into all the computer stores and IBM was everywhere. Now they're kind of not really anywhere. Like IBM used to have all sorts of stuff going on. Now I feel like they're not really anywhere. Anyways, yeah, so maybe Red Hat will bring that back to the map. All right. Those are my few announcements or few discussion points, but I was hoping that Sahaj brought some things in here. I have a few things to talk about on top of this. I'm going to pull those up while Sahaj maybe gives us the lowdown on what he has to talk about.
So first of all, a little bit of an update on last week's episode about the OpenCV. We were discussing having 1080p video input on there using GStreamer and stuff like that. So I've done a bit of experiments. It's not about just streaming, but working with that amount of resolution kind of gets a bit taxing. So I've released a detailed blog. It will go out sometime next week, which is just about running 1080p over OpenCV and the challenges with it, and different ways to do it using GStreamer and all of that stuff. So keep your eye out for that when that goes live. But for today, I have the popular NAS, and I'll I'll share an image, and then we'll go through what that is. So this is basically just network attached storage over a gigabit LAN running on a Poplar. I guess it's in a proper PC case, but the Poplar is kind of stuck to the back of it. Yeah, I went with the fairly overpowered power supply. You don't need that much, but just for stability and reasons, and like Corsair power supplies, they won't fail as easily. Um, and there you can see we have a Poplar. I did attach a small fan to it, and this little doodad you can see here is basically turns on the power supply. It has a 24 pin coming in. It actually turns it on. It has a switch in there so that the whole system can then turn on. That then powers the Poplar itself. Also connected to the hard drive. Now hard drive doesn't go into the Poplar directly. I wanted to go the PCIe route, since that gives us a fair bit more bandwidth speed and I/O speed and stuff like that. So I've gone with PCI based data card. So I have my kind of a PCI extender so that I can place my SATA card properly on the slot here, and then I just power the slot externally and have it connected on the onboard PCI slot on the Poplar itself. So that gives me a nice little speed bump. And this is a NAS drive, so it's specially designed for this kind of operation where it's always ready, it's always spinning, and has a fairly long life. Now in the future, I will be upgrading it to multiple drives using RAID 5 or RAID 6, depending on how much I'm willing to spend, which means even if one or two drives fail in case of RAID 6, my data would be safe. And I can rebuild it with new drives.
Saj,
Yeah.
Timothy is saying, I wonder if you can use the new SOM board instead of the Poplar.
I could. The only reason I use the Poplar because it's an old board and I don't need to pull it out every time and play with it. The new song would make sense for a bunch of reasons. It has a 4x PCI slot, so it will give me a lot more throughput once I want to kind of grow my system a little bit, maybe have 2 or 3 PCI cards, or just one single X4 PCI card that has maybe 8 or 10 SATA ports on there, uh, and then I can increase the number of drives. But that's a good point. That was an alternative. The second reason is that why I didn't use the soundboard is the upstream kernel work is being done. It's not ready yet, but on the Poplar, since it's an older board, I am running vanilla mainline. So it's just running Debian and completely mainline Linux. So if I go ahead and let's see, I'll have to change the screen share. How do you do that? Uh, and share this screen, and I go and SSH into that. Is it? And I do uname 8. You can see I'm running the very recently released 5.2.0. Built it today itself. I just saw the announcement, decided to build it. And then if I do ls PCI, you can actually see the SATA card here, with the SATA controller, and then I have the 2 SATA ports that are coming out of that. So that's one thing. And then I have something called webmin or web administrator installed, so I can like monitor my drives here. And you can see the 4 TB drive, because all of the video stuff we record at 4K, and all the raw footage, only 500 gigs is left. So it's asking for a drive upgrade really soon. Um, yeah, so it's connected over. I have connected over NFS, which is the network file system, native to Linux, to all my Linux systems, and then over Samba onto the Windows system, and all of that. On both of them, I'm getting like 100 Mbps throughput, which is really nice. So really fast. Um, Access times, I mean, really fast read and write, but the access times are slow because it's over the agent, so you can't like live use it, apart from things in like Premiere and stuff, because they cache everything.
So,
So
so Haj, have you heard of the new? I mean, I don't know. Like, I don't think it's a controversial topic to talk about BitTorrent or torrenting. Is that a controversial topic?
not if you say only for official purposes, or I only download like stuff like Ubuntu has ISOs on torrent. So a lot of people use torrent to download and host ISOs of open source projects.
So BitTorrent launched recently, like I think it was yesterday or the day before, this new BitTorrent, for those of you who don't know, is kind of like it's a torrenting software. Like it's the client for you get your torrent and then you bring it into the BitTorrent software. They call it, I believe, uTorrent. BitTorrent's the company that makes the uTorrent client. And they recently launched this thing called BitTorrent Speed. Did you hear about this or no?
No.
So essentially, it's kind of like the first attempt to, let's call it like decentralized, because I mean, uTorrenting system, the uTorrent or BitTorrent or torrenting system is kind of like a decentralized peer-to-peer. It's almost like the original decentralization, kind of like back in the day when torrenting first started, peer-to-peer sharing of files, right? And that's what it is. But BitTorrent launched their new system where you can actually like earn cryptocurrency by seeding. So if you want faster download rates, then you can enable this BitTorrent Speed. It's what it's called, and it allows you to download much faster. And then if someone else is participating in the BitTorrent Speed system, then you earn this token called BTT. So you can feed your wallet BTT within uTorrent. I could actually show it to you real quick. It's pretty interesting because, I mean, for people who aren't really into the whole thing yet, let's see, uTorrent, is that, there we go. Let me see real quick. Gotta just do this. So, oh, did I stop sharing? 1 second. Here we go. So they have like a plan, an upgrade plan, whatever. I don't really use that. But like if you download stuff, what I was looking at here is BitTorrent speed. So you can essentially like create a wallet on here. This is all new. It just launched. And you create a wallet with the wallet. Does my password show up? Let me see. You can download and you can withdraw BTT, and then BTT gives you access to faster download speed. So you can turn the faster download speeds on or off. You can seed files. So essentially kind of like creating a system where it's like proof of storage, right? Like if you're holding enough things, you can seed open source projects and seed things out and then earn kind of while you're doing it, I guess.
Since we're in the topic, I also have this installed, which is web UI for the transmission, which is the kind of the default Linux torrent.
And you just seed that?
I seeded some of it, and I think I did remove the file or something. But I can just add torrent or QR code or URL and start seeding. So again, this all lives in my NAS, so my systems are free of.
But you see, this brings up a lot of questions for me. It's like, because I haven't really done enough research on it. I just heard about this and I downloaded it. Like I literally just heard about it. I haven't torrented. Put it this way, I haven't torrented since like Napster days. Napster, and then I remember Napster. I got out of that. I was like, I'm not going to get in trouble. I don't want to get in trouble. So I stopped torrenting. What was it? LimeWire? Did you say LimeWire?
It's like I started with LimeWire.
Yeah, so I stopped. I think it was Napster, LimeWire, Kazaa. And then I was like right around there when I was just like, nah, screw this, I'm out. But my question is like, I would imagine you can get into a lot of trouble by making money off of even open source projects. Like, so like if you're seeding the Ubuntu ISO and people are paying you tokens to get a faster download speed, now you're making money.
Isn't that your service? Like Ubuntu's ISO is a compiled binary. You're not changing anything on it. And if the only, from the open source point of view, the only thing you are supposed to do, if you change anything in the ISO, you are supposed to give the source of what you change. But since it's a vanilla ISO, you can just say, oh, this is the actual source of the ISO. I'm just mirroring it. Now, if you want a faster speed, you can pay me extra.
Oh, okay. I guess that makes sense.
And that's I think what, again, that also depends on local laws and stuff.
I mean, when you put it that way, but I guess like, I don't know. It's just, there might be some document out there that in one of those terms and services things that no one ever reads that says something about this, but yeah. So moving on to this, I mean, I just wanted to mention that because I thought it was interesting. BTT, if anyone is interested in talking more about that, let me know. I have a few things that pop up quite frequently. So in the theme, right? AMA, 96Boards AMA, I wanted to go through some questions that come to me, gosh, like very, very often. Excuse me. But yeah, so essentially let's look at, what I'm looking at here is we have a little contact us form on 96Boards website. So you get the forums, you have our Discord channel, you have our GitHub repos, but these are the questions that people don't really see. And these are the questions that come directly to my email. Well, a cluster of us, all of our emails, and then we answer them on this like ticketing system, et cetera, et cetera. Most of the times I just try to say like, can you please go to the forum and post this question? And I hope it makes it to the forum, but if it doesn't, these are the questions that I want to bring up here. So I'm not going to give names. I'm not, because I mean, who knows if they want to stay private, but essentially let's look at one of these. Where's the bubblegum board? Where's the bubblegum board and how can I get one and why aren't they for sale? And where's the eBay link and where's the Amazon link? And so the real answer to this is that, 96Boards, we don't control the sales of any of our boards. This is completely done through our partners. The bubblegum board is still available as far as I know through Taobao. Anyone in the US or I think any country but China is not comfortable using Taobao. Even their translation, like even if you translate it through Google Chrome, it still doesn't translate their pop-ups. So like everything might get translated, but you still have no idea what you're doing. It's really difficult to use for anyone outside of China. And that's the only thing that I know of right now. I have sent an email to UC Robotics. I'm hoping they respond. I'm hoping they, let us know what's going on, but we don't know what's going on with the bubblegum board. That's the only answer I have for that one, but I do get that question quite often, surprisingly enough. The next thing I have here is, let's see. I'm pulling up a bunch here. I have some that are more technical than others, and that I'd rather them go to the forums. But yeah, so large quantity orders of boards. Large quantity orders of boards. We can help you, steer you to partners who do sell more boards than other partners. So for instance, Aero Electronics. And when I say large quantities of boards, I'm talking more specifically about someone who contacted me about ordering many different boards and then multiple boards of many different boards. Aero Electronics is probably, I'm actually wearing the hat today. Aero Electronics is probably the best place to go for this. They have the largest line cart, 96Boards line cart. And not only that, they also have multiple mezzanines and baseboards for the 96Boards ecosystem. So if you contact them, you have a much better chance of possibly getting a deal if you buy a large order. I can't say that for sure. I don't know. Again, 96Boards is not responsible for the selling or distribution of our boards. It's our partners' responsibility for doing that. But Aero has been a really good partner of ours for a long time, and they're the ones who you will contact for this. Now, if you can't find a way to contact them, it is very easy, though. If you just go to their website, they have the little live chat thing. You can chat with a salesperson there. You can deal with it right there. But if you still can't figure it out, you can always reach out to me, and I'll try to find a point of contact to help you get your order filled. Not really something we like to do. It's not something, that we specialize in, but we do want to make sure that you are taken care of, and we'll try to help you out as best as possible. Another thing is we get emails all the time about, hey, can you send me an offer if I buy more boards? Again, going back to this, no, we can't, because that's not what we do. We will forward you to our partner to help you get orders for boards. I don't know, Sahaj, did you want to jump on any?
There are a couple of forum posts that I can.
Yeah. So another question. While you pull something up, I got another question saying we bought a bunch of samples of the Rock 960. We're having technical issues. Could you please help? Can you please help us with these issues? What issues? Like, you want me to send an email back to you to ask you what issues? That doesn't make sense. So just post your issues. So, I mean, the proper way to ask for support or help is to send us an email with your questions. But first of all, that's one way. The other way is I would much rather you go post them on the forums. And so for this particular question, I basically just forwarded that person to the forums. I'm really hoping that they go post these technical related questions on the forum. Our partners are monitoring the forums to help get these questions answered, and we will do our best to monitor them as well on the 96Board side of things. You're up, Saj.
Another screen share. So
You're gonna
I'm just sharing the forum post.
Okay.
I have a few. Right. So this one was, I think, interesting, but Lloyd seems to be already on it. Recently bought a 7-inch HDMI display. I think they're talking about the WaveShare one, which is also the Arrow Link Sprite HDMI display that would be recommended along with our DragonBoard 410C. And they are having trouble working it with the Rock 960. This is on the Android build. So this is running the vendor kernel. So that means there might be some issues. We had a similar issue with the high key back in the day where we actually had to manually add that extra resolution in basically a hard-coded resolution list. That is something like people don't really add the very low 800 by 480p resolution monitors because they don't show up well in Android. but I think Like is on it, so he's asking for EDID stuff, which would actually tell whether the board is detecting the HDMI display properly or not. The other one is got my hand on Hikey 970. What now? Which was a okay, nice one. They're asking basically for NPU and TensorFlow demos. Now, as far as I know, um, there was IoT or some other company who were handling all the limb maker based Debian distributions and stuff like that. So we aren't super directly on it unless like we are asked to do a project or something like that. But I found a few online. Just Google Hikey 970 NPU demos, and a bunch of them come up. And this was a nice one. Uh, they use the NPU for image detection and stuff like that. A couple ones from for the 845 cooling the Snapdragon 845 is for the RB3 board. Um, my resolution right now is to just use the fan. I still have to contact the right people to get the exact specification of the fan header. There is a speed controllable fan header on the actual board, so you can attach a cooling fan on there without having to resort to this kind of modification. But till that's sorted out, I'm getting pretty good performance with this. 2.6 gigahertz on the high end cores and 1.7 gigahertz on the lower end cores, simultaneously, like constant load. So there's not peak clocks; these are constant clocks, and those are pretty close to what the 845 should perform like. And it stays at around 70-ish degrees Celsius. This is an old one, but I think it's nice to bring it up right now, which is LEOS. Download link is broken. LEOS was the original kind of Thundercom's own little Linux distribution that they released the RV3 with. But right now the situation is you can actually go follow documentation and download a fully working Debian build. So the proper working Debian build is out. It has all the firmwares. The GPU should work. I think they're still working on audio and a couple other things. But USB GPU, LAN, Wi-Fi is still work in progress, and stuff like and PCI and stuff like that should just work out with the box right now with the official Debian build. And that was kind of it. I think Mani has one in the chat.
No, wait, my turn.
Okay.
Okay, let's see. How do I like the screen sharing idea here. Okay, screen one. So I pulled up a couple here. So make it all available from one place. Actually, Monty might want to talk on this one because this has to do with the IMX7 Meerkat board. But maybe anyone wants to talk about this one. But basically, if you're not familiar, you have to go download like a virtual machine to get working on this board. Novtech offers kind of all their tools and stuff, but why don't we offer kind of something a simpler solution? Mani, actually, can you talk to this one?
Hey, Robert, sure. So yeah, the virtual machine stuff for the Meerkat 96 boards is very difficult to work with, and to be honest, I haven't really touched that thing. So what I did for the last couple of weeks was I posted the Linux kernel patches for this board, and one of our engineers posted the U-boot patches for this board. So the current situation is, without getting into the virtual machine, you can actually use this board to run latest mainline kernel and also the latest U-boot. So that's quite possible, but we don't have any guide for doing that. So I'm thinking about adding a guide in our documentation repo for that. So maybe next week we should have a guide documenting all the steps.
Excellent. Awesome. That'd be really cool. Yeah, because I mean, the same thing for the Chameleon. I believe the Chameleon also requires like a virtual machine to go.
Yeah. So, but the problem is different for Chameleon. So for that board, so Chameleon is basically a FPGA board, right? So Nowtech has got few IPs running on the FPGA, and then they got the kernel communicate to the IPs on the FPGA running. So, which means that the upstream cannot accept the FPGA IPs as a part of the Linux kernel. For Chameleon, obviously we have to use we have to rely on their vendor support, which means that the virtual machine stuff. So the upstream doesn't quite work well. But if you want to just play with Linux kernel and also the FPGA, you can actually choose the upstream version. But for any serious development, just go to the virtual machine.
Awesome. Okay, cool. Thanks, Monty. Whoa, one more thing here. I have this one, and then we're getting a question from Timothy, but this one says, so is that it? Dragonboard 820C dead? This is from Do It Right. I love this guy. Do It Right I think he's been part of the 96Boards community since before I even joined Lenaro, working with high key stuff back long time ago. It says product page no longer says that the part isn't available for ordering. Now it's completely gone. 404. I want to test this out. I saw that Attila might be in the YouTube video, and we're going to test this out together. 820, because I did remember seeing that this was out. So if you click this, page doesn't exist. We did bring this up to Arrow a while ago, and we were told that it will be coming back. So I think we just need to kind of hold tight on this one, and it will be coming back. I'm not sure. Maybe I think we should probably remove this link and just turn it into something that says coming soon on this note here. I'm going to leave these open so that we can answer them. But yeah, it is to our understanding that it will be coming back. And it is to our understanding that it will be available once again. In fact, they were showing it, Qualcomm was showing it at the Maker Faire. So they had a new rev of the 820 there with them. They were showing it off, and they said that there will be a new batch coming. So yes, that's what I understand. Passing the torch, Monty, did you say something? Okay, yeah. So Attila's in the YouTube, and he says that he'll check this for us. Attila, you may have met him before on this channel. He is from Arrow, and he's our 96Boards guy. He's the man. He pretty much handles everything that has to do with 96Boards stuff very well as well. So what do we got, Monty? Is it your turn? Are we doing Monty's minute, Monty's upstream minute, or did you want to talk about a forum post? He's cutting out. Let's take Tyeth's question real quick. Before maybe Monty, let us know when your stream is back. But Tyeth asks, on the OpenCV robotics arm, can you link the specs buy it now page for the arm? I don't know. Have we released the bill of materials yet? Is that in the blog?
Not yet. I've linked the arm in the chat.
Oh, okay. Yeah, sorry about that. I guess it did get answered. But we will release a full bill of materials, as far as I know, eventually in one of the blogs. So
In the final blog, probably.
In the final blog, yeah. It might be worthwhile to just add it to the first blog, but I don't know. Yeah. Are there any other questions that popped up in here?
He does say the code is white on light gray, and any chance you can change it. It's on the blog, which I will actually have to talk to.
The code is in white, right?
Yeah, on light gray, so it's barely readable.
Yeah, it's true. On the website, if you go, I could share this right here again. If you go to 96boards.org, where is that? 96boards.org blog, and then you click on the arm and scroll down. See how I don't know why it came out like this. You see what I'm saying?
Yeah, I'm seeing that. I think I'll probably have to ask Kyle for some guidance on this.
Yeah, it might be something he changed because it never used to do that.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Do the Peter Griffin window shade CSS GIF.
Peter Griffin window shade CSF GIF?
I'll find it and post it in chat.
Okay. Cool. All right. It doesn't look like we have any. It doesn't look like we have any more questions.
Hey, Robert.
Hey, Money, you're back.
Yeah, I'm back. Sorry for the network issues here. So I do have a couple of things to talk about. So the first one is the forum post, which I shared in the chat. So the user got confused between the debug UART console available on all of our 96 boards. To be frank, this is actually confusing for all of us because we have different boards from different manufacturers, right? So all of them are trying to do the debug UART in different forms. So some of them will have an onboard debug UART header where you can just plug in the USB to UART converter over there. Someone will expose the Type-C connector. Someone will expose micro B connector, and someone will not expose anything. So we have many varieties. So what I actually replied to that user in the forum. So what I can actually make it clear was, so if you have any onboard UART connector, debug UART connector available on any of our 96 board, just use that in order to debug it. But if you don't find anything, you need to plug the mezzanine on top of the board, and you can access the UART console on the UART 1 port of low-speed header. So that's the undocumented rule of 96 boards. So LS UART 1 is the debug console port on all of our 96 boards, which doesn't have any onboard debug port, right? So that's the forum post. And I do have a small update on the upstreaming side of 96 board this week. So I submitted last 2 days before, I submitted the U-boot patches for IMX 8 AML board from Arrow. So this is this board is not yet released. So, but the good thing is that the software support for this board is being worked on. So at the time of the board release, we should have the latest and greatest software support available for this board. And just before this meeting, I got the mainline kernel working on this board also. So everything is set up, and then patches should be available on the LKML within a couple of days.
I have the AI ML board right here. It's a
that's the old one.
This is the old one, but also
I have that one.
It's also got a bunch of hand soldered wires in the back. My board doesn't work. I can't even get it going.
The new version is green in color.
Yep, I have one. Yeah, it is.
Yeah, that's the one.
There you go. Yeah, Bill Davies from Arrow was showing it off at Maker Faire, running a pretty cool. What do you call it? Crowd counting or people counting algorithm. It uses depth and motion to calculate how many people are in a crowd, and then it learns over time. So, like, say for instance, there's a tree in the background that's waving. It'll count that tree as though it's people, but then over time it realizes that people will leave this area and come in, and so then it starts eliminating the tree as counting for people because it learns that the tree is not people over time.
So actually, I have a question about the AIML and even Thor 96 to Attila, whether they will actually come with the base plate and the fan already attached, or is this something that we just got?
I would imagine that it would come with that.
I would hope so.
Yeah, I think so.
Yeah. Similar to how the Ultra 96 comes with that whole base and everything. Yeah. So there's a question in YouTube chat that I will not be able to answer, but maybe Mani or Sahaj can. In the context of Ultra 96 MPSOC, could you please point to a good resource on how AXI PSPL communication works?
I'd say that's a very good question.
It's a very good question that we don't have resources for yet.
No, Xilinx has pretty good resources, so I'd probably just let me Google something.
Yeah, so maybe while we do Mani,
Xilinx has a reference guide for this.
Oh, for this exact thing, for this.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
All right. So Sahaj will share that with you, Wasim. in the chat.
I mean, I'm just sharing that generic AXI reference guide that Xilinx has with Vivado.
And so there's still a couple more things I want to talk about. But yeah, so while you find that, Sahaj, let's do Mani's upstream minute. Is that you good, Mani, for that?
I think he just did that. No.
Did Mani leave? Did he do it? Did he say screw this, I'm out?
I think he just did the upstream minute.
That was the upstream minute? Oh, okay. I didn't get to say like, okay, this is Mani's upstream minute.
He did say last week that the minute this week was going to be shorter than last week.
I did say that, yes. Mani said that too.
You didn't listen to me, Robert.
I don't listen enough. I'm always just like looking all around at all this other stuff. No, I heard you talk about the things you were doing. I just thought you were going to do a forum post, but then yeah, okay. That was Mani's upstream minute. We're all good. All right. Then the one thing I want to talk about for next week, of course, does anyone else have anything else to bring up here?
Not really.
Not really.
Actually, something once you finish, then I can add something else.
It's so hot in San Diego right now. I mean, I don't know. Like, I'm probably so much hotter everywhere else in the world. It's like 81 degrees.
Much?
You realize that I am in Phoenix, right?
You realize I'm in India, right?
So next week, we're going to be speaking with the folks from a company called String. Mural and Zach from String. Now, we've talked to them before. It used to be a company called Hello Chava. I think it was Hello Chava.
Yep.
That was it, right? Hello Chava. And they've recently kind of restructured, redone their stuff, and formed a new company called String. Definitely worth checking out. I would suggest all of you guys join this one. We're gonna have a lot of fun, and I'm going to be doing a giveaway next week. Now, unfortunately, the giveaway is going to be restricted to US. I might be able to swing Canada or Mexico. It really depends on shipping costs, but I think I can do Canada or Mexico, anywhere in this kind of like, North American area. And then, of course, if there's any embargoes going on, then definitely not. But I'm going to be giving away a Ledger Nano S. If you're familiar with this is a hard wallet, or a cold storage hard wallet for cryptocurrency. I picked up a bunch of these at the Bitcoin conference a couple weeks ago, and I thought, hey, why not? The giveaway is going to be on Twitter though, so there will be a chance to win it on Twitter. And then those who join will get an extra kind of vote, let's just say, from Twitter. So if you follow, retweet the post on Twitter next week, you get a chance to win. And then if you join the call, you get an extra chance to win. If you pay for shipping, then I think why not? The thing is that, I mean, I got this for $15, right? It's not, they sell for $50, so $50. But I got it for 15 because it was a special deal at the Bitcoin conference. I wouldn't want you spending more on shipping than the device costs itself. If you really want to participate, how about this? Like, if you really want to participate, as long as you write value 15, then tax will be cheap. Yeah, I could write value 0 or 2, or I could just write sample product. I mean, that's not a big deal. We could figure it out. So like if Tyeth, if you want to try getting into the contest, I wouldn't mind letting you get into the contest. Worst case scenario is that if someone wins in the EU, then maybe we could work out a situation where it's like you just have to wait until post Connect San Diego, so like October timeframe, and then I can hand the device off to someone in the EU, and then they can mail it to you from there. So that's always an option. Like if it's someone, I think like someone who comes to the call often, I know Bruno, Tyeth, I know Ragnar. There's a lot of people that come to the call often. I'm also going to be doing a little package for Timothy, who's in here as well, in India. Or not, he's not in India, but I'm going to send it to someone in India to ship out to him because it's much closer. So yeah, we can work something out like that. But it should be
I
fun.
will say that the hardware underground worked really well for Sahaj and I at Lenaro Connect.
The hardware underground, passing stuff off and then shipping, like sending stuff out to get shipped.
Oh no, we just pass it off to each other because it was easier for me to bring it to Connect and hand it to him than it was going to be to ship it easily, like hundreds of dollars saved.
Oh yeah, no, I have these things right here that I haven't even opened yet. These are packages for the 96Boards team. This is 2 Ultra 96 V2s, and then this is a bunch of the 4-port Ethernet mezzanines from Opsero. So we have a bunch of stuff.
Yeah, just wait till Connect San Diego.
Exactly. Yeah, so I'm holding on to them until then. I might have to ship the Ultra 96s out to you guys, though. I might need to beforehand. Depends. But yeah. So that's that.
So you said it was 81 degrees Fahrenheit there?
What?
You said it was 81 there?
81 Fahrenheit, 81 Celsius. We're boiling over here. 81 Fahrenheit.
Yeah, I keep my air conditioner at that.
That's what you keep.
It's just 40 years.
Starting next month, I do about the same thing.
Basically, I keep my air conditioner at the temperature that you're sitting at naturally.
Yeah. Anyway, the other news was you can expect there to be a bit more quality improvement in the 96Boards video we do, especially in the screen sharing department, where I usually just had to point my camera to the screen. I have now ordered a video capture device because now they finally make it something that works well with Linux. So I can just stream it to my Linux box and capture it on there.
Yeah, that'll be pretty cool. I'm trying to also update. Like, I mean, you see behind me this mess. I'm trying to make this better. I want to get a green screen. I want to get the lights that come in on here and everything. Luckily now in front of me, I have just kind of natural light in the morning. This is all a window here in front of me, but the green screen and lights thing costs like $300. It's not cheap. I just dropped on a new microphone and a new camera and all this other stuff. It's like I don't get reimbursed for that. I should, but I don't. This is kind of like a passion slash. I'm glad that they let me do this for my work. It's nice.
Being stakeholders friendly.
What happened?
I said being stakeholders friendly.
Yes. If I understood that correctly, did I answer it correctly?
Yeah.
Yeah. So another question came up in here. Is there any plans for the STM32 MP1? Yes. The MP1 is the Avenger, right?
Yep.
Yeah, the Avenger 96 right here. That one, from what I understand, now don't quote me on this, and I'm obviously not going to give you a date, but I understand that it will become available. It's already been launched on the 96Boards website, but I understand it will become available towards the end of this month and the beginning of next month. Or the beginning of next month. That's when it should become available. There are a lot of cool developments coming out around this board. Monty can update you probably a little better on the software side of things. We did talk about it a little bit last week.
Yeah. So I had an update on this board last week. So the basic thing is all the upstreaming support for this board is done. So when you buy this board, you can actually run the upstream software right from the bootloader to Linux kernel.
There you go. But also there are plans for so that's like on the bootloader Linux kernel side, low on the bottom end. But also they are going to build a Debian image, a custom Debian image, let's call it like a Lenaro Debian image for this board as well. So with all of the work that Monty and the folks from ST have been doing, you should be able to just kind of like run mainline Debian, right? Or sorry, run upstream Debian, whatever, right?
Yeah.
But
so I
we're
think
putting our own images together.
Yeah, I think the Debian image should have two versions once it got published. So one is based on the mainline, and another one is based on the vendor kernel. Because the mainline is being worked on by ST Microelectronics, so there are a lot of features missing. So we'll be adding that one by one. So meantime, we'll have two images, right? Mainline and vendor.
And I mean, has anyone been told what the cost of this board is going to be? Do we have an idea? I feel like I should know this, but like it's been told to me, but I can't remember. I think it's sub 200. And no one knows. Okay, that's fine. Yeah, it should be a pretty affordable board. Also, I mean, like, you know, of course, the perks of having Cortex A and Cortex M on a single board is pretty nice, right? We were talking about this last week in that, you know, you don't really need a mezzanine to do all the motor control stuff because you just have a Cortex M on the board. You have an MCU right there, so you're good to go. If that's what you planned on doing. All right. Should we close this out? I feel like there's still like people in here, and if anyone wants to talk about stuff, I don't know, Carl, you want to talk about anything that you got going on in your world? Packet stuff?
Nothing too much going on at the moment, packet stuff wise. We actually were having a discussion that I was going to bring up in after hours, but I might as well bring it up now. So who cares? Sahaj planted a terrible idea in my head on the Works on ARM call yesterday of a new. I was complaining about how a lot of the boards that are out there don't have good like remote control capabilities, and I don't necessarily mean like full IPMI, but just like turn it on, turn it off, have access to the serial console, do that sort of thing. And then Sahaj was like, why don't you design a mezzanine board for it? So I actually wanted to ask folks if they had any ideas, because what I was thinking of was something relatively simple where it's basically a pass-through mezzanine board that has a 4-port USB serial adapter on it. And the only reason it's got a 4-port one is because your choices are 1, 2, and 4, and I need at least 3. And then that'll attach UART1, UART0, UART1, and a controller that is on the mezzanine board. That gets powered off of the USB host. It would have a DC-in jack on it that you plug power into, and then the microcontroller on the board would be able to tell you how much power the board is consuming, as well as being able to turn on and off the board by cutting power to the DC-in ports on the low-speed header. And it would be a pass-through header, so you could stick another mezzanine on top of it. And then maybe more fancy things, because the microcontroller it's going to use has a lot of peripherals on it. So you could do stuff like have a fan header on this board and be able to control that with the microcontroller. Just was curious if anyone else thought this would be useful. The idea being that at that point you plug it into a host, one of the serial ports that shows up on the host is going to spit out status information, and you can tell it to turn on and off the board that way.
Yeah, I feel like this topic was brought up like a year ago by Daniel Lascano from Lenaro, bringing in more remote control capabilities because they wanted to run like test farms and stuff like that. And then they were talking about building a mezzanine for it, and more specifically a fan mezzanine that would turn on and off because they are big in like the whole power management team. But yeah, so I mean, I know that there are people interested in stuff like this, and yeah, this would be kind of the perfect board to do that on. But they were looking for a more mezzanine to go across all the boards.
Okay. So that is a miniature version of this idea, found out by Daniel Thompson. So he has a setup which has the Carbon board, which is an IoT board. It got connected to a relay, and that relay actually powers all the 96 boards. Oh, cool. So yeah, the Carbon board is connected to Raspberry Pi. So what he did was he can SSH onto the Raspberry Pi from anywhere, and then he can control the relay through Carbon.
Cool.
So he can actually physically turn on and off every board remotely, but no serial connection so far.
Okay. Yeah, I mean,
extending that to serial connection would be very cool.
Okay. I will spend a little bit of time possibly this weekend putting together a schematic.
Carl, could you join the mezzanine Monday week meetings someday?
Sure.
Yeah,
I don't see why not. I mean,
Yeah, because Michael Welling will be there, and he might
Okay.
be able to give you some good advice on
cool.
what can be done in terms of actual chips that are available and stuff like that.
I will ping you offline to get an invite to that because I don't think it's on
Yeah.
my calendar, but that's fine.
Okay.
Cool. All right, let's close this one out and go into after hours. This has been a hoot. All right, no, it's been a lot of fun. Thank you everyone for joining. Once again, this has been episode 155 of Open Hours, going on episode 156, where we will be meeting with the folks from String, which is a mobile application that creates phone numbers for you so that you can kind of communicate with people. I'll let you learn all about it next week, but it should be a lot of fun. We will be doing a Ledger Nano S giveaway. Make sure to keep your eyes on the 96Boards Twitter at 96Boards Twitter to participate in that. Of course, anyone who joins will also have an opportunity to participate regardless of your participation in the 96Boards Twitter. So yeah, all right. Thank you everyone for joining. We're going to cut the stream. Everyone on YouTube, if you are interested, you're more than welcome to shuffle on over to the Zoom call. The link to the Zoom call is in the description. Stay tuned for more information about this episode. I'll try to, as always, release a blog. I'm backlogged by like 7 of them now, but hopefully we'll be getting those out in a sequence as they are released. Thank you. Have a nice day. Stop stream.